I think you can tell if you follow me at all that I'm a pretty big sports fan with all this stuff behind me, and I'm wearing some kind of a sports shirt or hat every single day, or at least 80% of the time. So I'm in favor of all different kinds of sports. All of it's great. So when the WNBA comes along, and I guess they've been around a lot longer than I was aware, it's like, great. More sports? Awesome. Opportunities for female basketball players coming out of college? Fantastic. And I'm not going to sit here and yell and lie to you and say that, I've actually watched a whole WNBA game. I haven't. I can name like 2 of the teams in the league, that's for sure. But I like that it's there, right? But we have to ask a very serious question now. Is this the dumbest league in the history of sports? And I think clearly now, this week's events, the answer is yes. I mean, for a variety of reasons. You can't talk about the NBA without talking about Caitlin Clark, their main star, which they just let her get hacked almost to death on the court with nothing to do. This is their golden goose. The only reason why most people are even aware this league exists, and they've let her get attacked. That one thing. We've got a gambling issue they made disappear this week. That was one thing. But the granddaddy or grandmommy of them all was attacking teen girls in support of protecting women's sports. Huh? They're in favor of protecting girls' sports in a sports league for women, and they're getting attacked. Yeah, this is the dumbest league in league history. We'll get to it. Anyway, thanks for finding me with Wicked Radio on the live stream and replay, X, YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff. Audio podcast replay, or podcast, I should say, is uploaded as soon as we get off the live stream. Let's get right to it, and let's start with the obvious before we get into the big issue that this has caused, because they've never been in the news so much, which actually should be a good thing for them. You should be able to take advantage of all their publicity these days, but they're not smart enough to do it, because these are the most intolerant, jealous players, owners, and administrators and commissioner ever seen in any league ever. You can't talk about the WNBA without talking about Caitlin Clark, their superstar. You probably have at least heard her name in passing if you're not a fan already. University of Iowa star. I think she holds 3 college records for three-pointers. I think like individual game, season, career, all that good stuff. Absolute superstar. Falls into the WNBA's lap. A golden goose. Ratings go through the roof. She gets drafted. She plays for her team, the Indiana Fever. Huge, right? The only reason why most people, it's true, let's be honest here, the only reason why most people in this country are even aware of the WNBA, this was a minor, fringe, outlier league before she came along. It's true. You may not want to hear that, but it's true. What do? Out of jealousy, rage, anger, hatred, she gets hacked almost every night on the court by these angry, jealous creatures, and they do nothing to protect her. Like, there have been a lot of calls for her to just pack up, leave. She could start her own celebrity basketball league. It would put the WNBA out of business. This is how stupid they are to have this golden goose fall in their lap. A ratings winner, a huge marketing machine, and they let her get attacked, fairly or unfairly. That's the first thing. Then we had this little incident this week before we get into the next story about girls' sports. So we had this little gambling issue they had this week that they made disappear. Now, this is why it's so stupid. 2 of their players were making a little bet on their own teams, like Pete Rose did, but he didn't get into the Hall of Fame for it. And they did a video of it. The league itself posted this video on their social channels. The league posted it before making it go away. And did nothing about it. No suspensions, no nothing. Completely stupid. This was the
At All-Star Weekend, you and Angel made a bet with each other on this game. Is that bet still?
This is how the rich stay rich.
You gotta save this money. I'm gonna see you next week on Wednesday.
Now, it's one thing if players do that, that's fine. A little side bet is only like $400, whatever it was, and they're betting on their own teams. They're not trying to throw a game. Most normal leagues would suspend those players and say, okay, we have to make a statement here. You have to go away for a couple of games. Nope, not them. They just made the video that they posted themselves disappear. I don't know who's running this league, but whoever it is incredibly stupid. But then we get to the real issue. Here it is. So, and it's kind of connected to Caitlin Clark in a way. Sophie Cunningham. You probably know her name. Tall, blonde girl, also plays for that Indiana Fever team. She was the one that made headlines for protecting, one of the only people to actually step up and physically protect Caitlin Clark on the court. Sophie Cunningham, she has guts. She has you-know-what of steel to come out and say what she says. Well, she said in an article in Sports Illustrated that common sense should prevail, and women, girls especially, in sports leagues shouldn't have to compete against biological men. Common sense that most of this country agrees with, right? Not in the league she plays with. She's gotten nothing but pushback and hatred and vitriol from this supposedly inclusive league that's supposed to stand up for women. So just the other day, they asked her about it again. Would you like to backtrack off those comments? Because how do you dare go against the trans community in a women's league? Keep in mind, God love her, she did not back down at all. In fact, she went even further than this to say, no, I support this is a safe space for everybody, including trans people. I just don't happen to think it's right for girls to have to be forced to compete with biological men. It's not fair. Why does their opportunity have to be attacked in the name of inclusivity and diversity? Here's what she said.
Wanting to protect young girls who shouldn't have to go against biological men. Just can you expand your viewpoint on that?
I mean, I think I said what I said. I think it's kind of common sense. And I think I'll always believe in that. I think it's really important to protect children. And that's little girls who are also involved in that category. And so I stand on what I said, and I always believe that.
I love that she didn't back down. I absolutely love that she didn't. Could have taken the easy way out very easily and just said, my words were taken out of context. I didn't mean that. No, she meant it. She wanted to protect girls. Again, keep in mind what are we doing here? She's in a league designed for women an opportunity to play basketball professionally. And the controversial thing is seen as her standing up for girls in sports. This is how insane this entire thing is. So obviously she's become a hero of girls in sports, as she should be. That's common sense again. So there's a clothing brand, there's a movement, there's support. Now you've got, again, there's another opportunity the WNBA could have to support this and grab hold of this opportunity and embrace it and build their audience. Nope. What are they met with? Vitriol and hatred and jealousy and pushback and anger. Just anger. So here you go. Here's the big incident this week. You probably heard a little bit about, or you're deep into it and you know how ridiculous it is. These two young girls went to a Seattle, it's Storm, I think it is. I told you, I'm not exactly an expert in this league. I'm just aware of it. They went to a Seattle Storm game because that team, Sophie Cunningham's team, Indiana Fever, were in town. So they wanted to show up and support her. Now, part of this is there's a clothing brand called XXYY, or XX, whatever, to support women's sports. It's actually founded by the former CEO of Levi's. She's a former woke liberal, and she says, I woke up and that's ridiculous now. All designed to protect women in sports. They showed up in those shirts with little signs thanking Sophie Cunningham, trying to get her attention. Pretty good. Bought courtside seats. What happens? The co-owner of that Seattle team sees it across the court, gets up, goes across the court before the game and berates these two teen girls who were interested in protecting women's sports and just wanted to thank Sophie Cunningham for standing up for them and others. Berates them and says things like, you're effing insane and Jesus loves everyone. This is one of the owners of the league, one of the owners in the league. Lo and behold, we've got a street video after the game of an interview with these two girls themselves. One of them had been crying. They sound a lot happier now, but this is them talking about the actual incident that they faced for simply, again, go back to it, supporting girls in sports. This is just, it's a little long, but you got to hear them telling the story.
Tell me what happened when this woman approached you.
Well, we were just sitting there with our signs that said, like, we love Sophie, like, thank you, Sophie, for speaking up. And so we were holding them, just watching the game. Again, like, we were being super great. We hadn't said anything to anyone else. We were being super respectful. We were just holding our signs and cheering for both teams. And this lady, older lady, comes up to us. And she comes up to us, and at first I think she's going to be nice. And then she asks, like, what are you guys doing? Or something like that. And then it was like, Jesus loves everyone. That's what she told us. And I was like, oh, I know. Like, I'm religious. Like, I know. Like, I know.
Nice.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, I hope Jesus can forgive you for what sin you've done. And, like, something like that. And then she told us that we were effing insane. And that we
And she's like, and she went like this.
Insane. Yeah.
She's like, you better stop.
You're effing insane. So this is obviously freaky for two teen girls to have this sea monster come across the court and yell at them like that. They didn't know who the hell she was. Thought she was just a crazy person. So here's the owner. What the league do? So this owner, very wealthy woman, co-owner, is suspended 5 games and a drop in the bucket, whatever, nothing. And that was it. And then they just let it lie. Because why? They support that. They support that kind of response. Here you are. Here you actually are bringing in, because of what Sophie Cunningham did, you're bringing in more fans to your league, into your building. They paid for tickets, and you berate them because they happen to disagree with you. Let's be honest here. It's not about inclusivity. It's not about diversity, because once you disagree with them and you bring in something else, they don't care about you. They want you out. They want you gone, right? They want you. They don't care about what you think about. They don't want you as part of the organization. They want you part of the fan base. And this is why I say, with all of the other reasons as well, the WNBA is the dumbest league. Absolutely stupid in the history of all sports that have ever come down the pike. All of them. Because they just don't get it. They're so blinded by their rage and their vitriol and their jealousy, which, by the way, is all in the name of inclusivity and diversity. They don't mean that, because once you disagree with them, they hate you. Well, this, of course, has brought out all the usual characters who have been also in favor of keeping men out of, shouldn't be that big of a deal, like J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter J.K. Rowling. She chimed in on this. Laura Ingram read her statement just the other night.
Potter author J.K. Rowling chimed in as well, saying these young women are heroines. They're peacefully protesting against the grotesque unfairness of men playing in women's sport. The only people who are bleeping insane here are those making a mockery of fair sport for women and trying to bully girls like this into silence.
It's a great statement to make, and she's obviously been, you probably heard it for years now. We're going to cancel J.K. Rowling. Why? Why? Because she's standing up for girls? No, you're a transphobe. No, she's just supporting women in sports. That's all it is, or women in opportunity. Why do young girls have to have their opportunity taken away in the name of diversity? But I'm here to tell you that there's always good news when you see through this. When you give common sense an opportunity to succeed and to win, it will. And now, because of the public being aware of this, it's starting to win. So good job, WNBA. What have you done now? Now, and you'll fight against this, I'm sure you will, tooth and nail, because you're too stupid to understand it. What have you done now? You've created a movement now. Now, because this has gotten so much press, it's all over social media, it's even made mainstream headlines. Now you've created a movement of young girls who are aware of the issue, number one, and doing something about it, and not afraid to speak out. They're not afraid of being canceled. Who the hell is afraid of being canceled these days? So what? Stop with your name calling. That doesn't work anymore. Common sense is prevailing. Now you've got a movement of young girls in sports saying we don't want our opportunities taken away by men anymore. And good for them. You got videos like this popping up everywhere. Granted, this is part of a marketing thing. This was published by that or promoted by that XXXY clothing brand supporting women in sports. But still, the movement stands.
Thank you, Shelby.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You stood up for us.
You didn't have to.
You could have taken the easy way out.
You could have sat back.
And enjoyed your fame.
You could have avoided the hate.
Taken the money.
And quietly closed the door behind you.
Leaving girls like us to fight this battle alone. But you didn't.
You spoke up.
You spoke up.
When it comes just to protecting young girls in sport, I feel very strongly about that.
And said what millions of women were thinking.
But we're too afraid to say.
And when they try.
And that's the bottom line, isn't it? Now they're not afraid to say, because now they know. It's kind of like group therapy. It's when you know other people are speaking up as well. The WNBA has created such a huge buzz about this unintentionally because they're too stupid to actually protect other women. Because they have girls coming to their games now who are interested in girls-only sports, at the lower level. They fought against this so hard. They've created an actual buzz about it. Are they smart enough to take advantage of it and welcome them? Come out with some sort of a, promo video or an ad saying, all are welcome, and we do support women in sport. No, they're not smart enough about this. What do they support? They support a league commissioner and an owner like this Seattle Storm lady, Celeste Keaton is her name, who attacked young girls at their game because they dared to stand up for other girls in sports. How insane is this? And they're too stupid to learn the lesson. This is the dumbest. They've had multiple times now, a golden goose opportunity fall in their lap, and they don't know what to do about it. What do they do about it? Because it's a different kind of thought, they fight against it tooth and nail with rage and jealousy. Dumbest league in the history of sports, of all sports that have ever come down the pike. I don't think they're smart enough to take advantage of this. I don't think they're smart enough to actually welcome all girls into their audience. Too stupid. I honestly hope Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark, people like that, they'd actually leave and start their own celebrity league or tournament or whatever it is and just bankrupt the WNBA. They honestly really should. And then, of course, the headlines will be, women's sports take a hit. No, wrong. Biased, woke organizations would take a hit in that case, not women's sports, because they're trying to protect women's sports. It's unbelievable. Anyway, I didn't expect to be talking about the WNBA today, but here we are. We don't determine the news cycle, just react to it. You can find me at Wicked Radio and the replay on X, YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff. Clips all over the place on those same channels, plus TikTok and the audio podcast of Wicked Radio. The complete episode always uploaded to your favorite podcast platforms as soon as we're done with the live stream. Appreciate you. It's Friday. Have a wicked awesome weekend. Enjoy it. Be safe. Have fun. Watch whatever you want. Keep an eye on this WNBA thing. Oh, it's so dumb. Make it a wicked awesome Friday. I'll talk to you later.